Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Well, folks, today is Friday, May 29th, 2026, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The Republican war on Black America continues in Louisiana. They approved a new congressional map eliminating one of the state's two majority black districts and drew an additional Republican-leaning district in its place. Not only that, the plaintiffs in the Louisiana Calais decision, they wanted to wipe out both black districts. We'll be joined by Congressman Cleo Fields, whose district has now been eliminated. In Alabama, they are rejoicing over a appeals court allowing them to cancel the May 19th, 10 days ago, the May 19th election, and calling for a special election for two state Senate seats. That's to also wipe out black people. The twice-impeached, criminally convicted con-man-in-chief gets a setback in the federal court. First of all, a federal judge says, y'all can't move that $1.8 billion white domestic terrorist reparation fund. And another federal judge said, sorry, Trump, take your name off of the Kennedy Center. You don't have the authority to have your name on it. A black Texas teen's trial for murder begins on Monday. We'll preview the case of the state of Texas versus Karmelo Sincere Anthony, the black teen who stabbed the white teen at a track meet in April 2025. Plus, we'll show you some white folks who love to, FAFO when messing around with black folks who are just trying to live. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling.
Well, folks, Louisiana did exactly what the Supreme Court allowed them to do, wiping out a majority black congressional district. You know, the same one they were ordered to draw after they have for decades discriminated against black people. It was, of course, it was now 5-1. It will give Republicans a 5-1 edge in the state, in the U.S. House, eliminating that district. It heads to Governor Jeff Landry for a signature, and of course, that MAGA governor is going to sign it. Now, the New Orleans-based district, represented by Congressman Troy Carter, will keep its black majority, though it will stretch into parts of Baton Rouge. The Baton Rouge-based district, held by Congressman Cleo Fields, will be dissolved, with its voters redistributed into other districts, particularly into predominantly white areas in the Baton Rouge suburbs in southern Louisiana. The new map will shift Louisiana's delegation from 4-2 Republican to 5-1 Republican. Joining us right now is Congressman Cleo Fields. Glad to have you here. What's crazy, Congressman, is that the plaintiffs, all this is because of the Louisiana versus Calais decision. And the plaintiffs in the Calais decision, they're so, frankly, racist. They did not just want to wipe out your seat. They were clamoring to wipe out the seat of Congressman Troy Carter as well.
Yeah, but first of all, thanks for having me, Roland. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the Calais plaintiffs, they have decided, they haven't yet, but they are talking about and threatening to file another lawsuit saying that the map is still gerrymandered because of, Congressman Troy Carter's district. I think that's just absolutely nonsense. And people in Louisiana and people all across the country need to fight back. I mean, people need to, if you're not registered to vote, then you really should be. And if you don't vote and you're registered, then you should vote. I mean, and people all across the country just need to take these signals seriously and actually take this time to register to vote and also participate. Because, this 33% black population in Louisiana is not going anywhere but to the voting polls. And we're encouraging people to get out, get registered, and get out and vote on Election Day.
Well, to that particular point there, that is important. And we've been saying that for quite some time, on this show. And what you have here is, and again, it's all nonsensical. On one hand, you've got these Republicans who were defending the map in court, saying no, race wasn't part of the consideration. And then when the Calais case was filed, they were like, oh, let's now switch sides. And it's like, okay, now we're going to fight for that. Then the same Supreme Court, the exact same Supreme Court, ruled that it was discriminatory maps against black people and allowed for the second one to be created. Then they come back and now say, well, no, race can't be used, so we're going to wipe that out.
Yeah, this is a signal that was sent by President Trump the day he took office, when he signed an executive order to do away with diversity, equity, and inclusion. It sent a dog whistle across the country that it was all right to be exclusive and not inclusive, that it was all right to discriminate. And then the Supreme Court, basically they followed through because, listen, Roland, I was chairman of the committee when we created the second minority district in Louisiana. I was chairman of Senate and Governmental Affairs, and I knew we had to follow the jingles test because we had been down this road before, quite frankly. And the author of the bill, we made it very clear. I questioned him extensively. Why are you drawing the map the way you drew it? And because we drew maps that were much more compact. And he said, listen, I'm trying to protect the only female member of Congress from Louisiana. I'm trying to protect the Speaker of the House. I'm trying to protect the Majority Leader. Those political considerations were absolutely okay under the jingles test. And the Supreme Court just did not want to see it that way. The record is clear. The record is there. They just didn't read it. What, 6 of them didn't or didn't care. But, these are the same struggles we had when we were fighting Plessy v. Ferguson. And I tell people in Louisiana, listen, we've been down this road before. We've had battles like this before, and we can't retreat. We just got to get more engaged. And that's why I'm encouraging people, not only in Louisiana, but across the country, particularly the southern part of the country, to get more engaged and participate in this process, because these voters, they don't know where to. I mean, they were having a problem with all these black voters. What are we going to do with them? These voters are going to go to the polls and they're going to vote on Election Day. And no matter what district you put them in, their voice will be heard.
And look, that was one of the issues that we raised. And we've had Garrett Chambers on here, and I have been saying that the problem that we're also seeing is that black votes in Louisiana are not voting their numbers. And the reality is, if black turnout was, and I've been using the 70% threshold, if black turnout was 70% of our capacity, we wipe people out. We win. We can dominate. But that cannot happen if black folks are turning out at 38, 40, 42, 45, 50%. And so I know that there are grassroots efforts in Louisiana to be on the ground, to put pressure, to get folks to register. What are you and others are doing? What is the state Democratic Party doing? What are nonpartisan groups doing? Because there has to be massive, we keep talking about turnout and register people, but there has to be massive voter education about public policy, about the issues. People have to be, we got to walk people through to say, this is going to be the impact of not having a Congressman Cleo Fields representing you in Washington, D.C. These are the millions and billions that will not be coming back to our communities. They'll be going to rural Louisiana, targeting Republican white voters. We have to walk people through what the consequences means by no representation.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've always said, voter registration without voter education, is almost a waste of time, because you got to give voters, you got to educate them and tell them why to get involved. I remember about 3 weeks ago, I had a town hall meeting in Shreveport, Louisiana, and that was a lady who stood up and she said, and that was after the district was declared unconstitutional by the court. And she said, Congressman, look, I'm done. I mean, my vote doesn't matter. They do what they want to do anyway. And I basically challenged her. I said, now, what are you, if you take that position, and what does that, and everybody else take that position, then they have won, we have lost. And then she changed her attitude and her focus, where she refocused her attention on, oh, yes, I do need to vote. I do need to be involved. Listen, we have to use, and look, in Louisiana, grassroots groups all over the state actually mobilizing voters. What I'm doing, I'm moving across the district to talk to voters, educate voters. People are aware of what's taking place in Louisiana. You mentioned Garrett Chambers. I mean, Garrett has been very engaged. And I think all of us collectively need to educate voters, tell them, this is going back pre-60s, I mean, people are changing lines because they can, and black voters don't have the protection of subsection 5 of the Voting Rights Act. Now they don't have the protection of subsection 2. And I really think that, we need to pass a law where states are not responsible. States are not, do not hold the threshold as to how you get in and register to vote, because southern states have made it very difficult for blacks in this country to even register to vote. And I just think there's a lot of education taking place. When you lose a member of Congress, there are rural communities in Louisiana that I've helped get money appropriated for their water systems. They've never had a member of Congress to actually show up at a town hall meeting and talk to them, and then go to Washington and talk about them and get them federal appropriations. So people realize the impact this decision will have on Louisiana. But it won't stop here. I mean, you mentioned the state of Alabama moving on state legislative seats. Look, the next test is going to be state legislative seats all across this country, and then city council and school boards. And we just can't just sit idly by and just let it happen.
And as a part of that, you talked about that particular town hall. What I've also said to people is what should be happening. And this is what I'm talking about is Louisiana, is Texas, is Mississippi, is Florida, is Alabama, is Tennessee, is North Carolina, is South Carolina, it's Georgia, it's Arkansas. What should be happening between now and Election Day, every single week, in every single one of those states, in every single one of these cities, there should be a citizenship education meeting, town hall discussion. And I'm talking about, and what I've been saying, Congressman, is we don't need one group or one church bearing the burden of doing it every single week. What I'm saying is every single week in Baton Rouge, it should be this week, it's going to be this church. The next week, this community group. The next week, the Alphas are doing it. The next week, the Omegas are doing it. The next week, the Deltas are doing it. The next week, Prince Hall Mason is doing it. The next week, the Eastern Star is doing it. The next week, the Links are doing it. And the word goes out, and if you miss it, and what I've also been saying, we need to make sure it's also being live streamed because, and when I also tell folk, I don't care if 10 people show up. I don't care if 20 show up. We have to have that, and we've got to be walking people through saying, let me explain to y'all, this is what the district now looks like. This is what's going to happen if they are in control. If these are the public policy that's going to be impacted. Right now, the Republicans have a razor-thin margin in the House. That one seat in Louisiana could make the difference between whether you have a Speaker Hakeem Jeffries or you have Speaker Mike Johnson. And then, because it happened in North Carolina. And so that's what this has to be about. It has to be that type of action, which we saw during the Civil Rights Movement or the Black Freedom Movement, where it was constant. And so it can't just be, well, let's just send some tweets out, put it on TikTok, put it on Instagram, and hope folks show up. Nah, it's got to be hardcore grind every week.
No, I agree with you, and you couldn't have said it better. I mean, it has to be, and it has to be all-inclusive. You know, I think the Divine Nine, they need to, and they have been here in Louisiana, and I suspect other states as well. They have been engaged. I really think people in Louisiana are more engaged now than they have been since, and I'll be honest with you, since David Duke. I mean, when David Duke ran for governor, I mean, Black people in Louisiana just really showed up. They really registered. They really went out to vote because they saw it firsthand. No, we cannot go back to those days. And the Greeks and the fraternities and the churches, the sororities and the churches and nonprofit groups, groups all over Louisiana actually got engaged. And I think, that is happening now. And I can't overemphasize, what you just said. I mean, everybody has to play a role in this. During the civil rights fights back in the day, Dr. King was like the icon of it. Jesse Jackson was like an icon of it. All of these civil rights leaders were icons, but it took a whole group, the masses had to make John Lewis, when he walked across that bridge and had his brains almost beaten out, it was a whole movement. And I think, people sense the need for that movement today. And I really appreciate what you said. And I think that movement is coming together right now as we speak.
Last question for you. You have a decision to make. Are you going to run for re-election in one of these seats? I'll be honest with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am seriously considering it. I'm going to meet with folk, in the next week, and we're going to make our decision, and our decision will be made public within the next 2 weeks.
I'll put my 2 cents in here. The reason I believe that you should run is because I believe, giving them a clear path is capitulation. And I think whoever, if you choose to run and you run against them, they have to answer for this. They have to answer on the record, will you stand up for civil rights? That Republican has to answer, will you stand up for voting rights? And every single question has to be put to them, and then be able to go back to Black voters and say, see, this is the person who is going to be representing you if you don't turn out to vote. And so to me, that's what has to happen.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and all of that is being under serious consideration. And as usual, Roland, thank you so much for keeping the issues that affect Black people across this nation in the forefront.
I certainly appreciate it. Congressman Cleo Fields, thanks a bunch.
Thank you. Bye.
Go to my iPad, folks. This happened in Alabama. Now, this is what is insane. I'm talking about absolutely insane. There was a primary in Alabama on May 19th. I need y'all to hear what I'm saying. There was a primary on May 19th. People already voted. Well, Alabama is now celebrating the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals that said that Alabama can use the 2021 Alabama drawn state Senate map and not the maps drawn by the federal court. And so here you have the governor, Republican governor, MAGA governor, saying Alabama continues winning fair and square in our redistricting battle, and I'm proud to celebrate yet another victory for Alabamians in our elections. In this case, we're talking about Alabamians in the state Senate districts 25 and 26. So she's calling for this special primary election for Tuesday, August 11th. Says there will be no runoff election. The general election will occur as planned with all other races on Tuesday, November 3rd. Now, here's what's crazy. The bottom right here. Now that the governor has called a special primary election, the May 19th primary election results for State Senate District 25 and 26 are now void. How in the hell can you just completely wipe out an election and then say, oh, I'm going to order a new one? That wasn't in the Supreme Court ruling. And remember, I told y'all this. When the folks wanted to challenge the map in Texas, same Supreme Court said, no, sorry. No, it's too close to the election. Yeah, this was in December. The Texas primary was in March. So the Supreme Court was saying, sorry, the election is about 4 months away. No, we can't do that. So y'all just gonna allow Alabama to wipe out an actual election and then say, oh, I'm just gonna order a new one? Y'all, this is what we mean when we say this is a GOP war on Black America. And I can guarantee, let's see, Alabama Senate District 25. Let's see right here. Okay, give me 1 second. Alabama Senate District 25. Let's see right here. Alabama 25th District. Okay, let me see. I wonder what they look like. So they're calling for this here. I'm gonna pull it up in a second. So we know very well what these people are doing. We know very well how they are targeting Black people. This is how these people are operating. They're shameful and despicable. I want to go to my panel. Joining us today on this Friday. I'm glad to have folks here. Actually, let me do this here. Before I do that, this was the Louisiana State Senator Jay Morris answering reporters' questions about the bill being passed. Listen to this.
I'm gratified that the majority of the Senate concurred in the House amendments and it's headed to the governor's desk, and this whole debate seems to be over for now, and so I'm happy about the result.
You had hundreds of people come out and protest against this bill, share public testimony. Did you take anything away from that?
Well, I know a certain percentage of the state is not for this bill. I get that. But the vast majority are, as evidenced by their representatives' votes, both in the House and Senate. So, as I stated a moment ago, the Greeks invented democracy, in which is the majority rules, and the majority of the state wants a map at least somewhat similar to this, and I think it will be approved.
So much conversation has surrounded race and party and whether those are synonymous in Louisiana. Is it your understanding that they are or they aren't?
It would be sad if race and party were synonymous. They're not, although admittedly more African Americans are Democrats these days, but we just can't look at that. We have to look past that. And so, you know, if you'll notice, the proponents of the bill, like me, we never talked about race. It's only the people that are opposed to it that talked about race. And all of those in the legislature who were here 2 years ago voted for a map that was racially gerrymandered and was declared so by the United States Supreme Court. And it's a little disingenuous to try to claim that this map is racially gerrymandered when they clearly voted for one that was racially gerrymandered and so held by the highest court in the land.
Senator, on the floor today, you talked about how you expect that there's going to be some litigation coming out of this. Do you think the map passed today? Are you confident that it could stand up in court?
I'm confident. I mean, you know, you can always be wrong. You never know exactly what a court's going to do. But the Supreme Court, in the language of the Calais decision, gave tacit approval to the 2022 maps that this map is based on. So considering that, I can't believe that they would, the courts would ultimately rule this map is unconstitutional.
We didn't consider race. Lying. Michael Imhotep hosts African History Network show out of Detroit. Thelma Anderson, creator of the Public Opinion Court, author Shut Up and Prosecute, out of Dallas. Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, and he's now an adult because he's now 40. All right, let's get to Thelma, straight as line. I mean, these white Republicans, we know the game. We know what they're doing, and we know how they're playing the game. It is based upon race. The data also shows in Louisiana that it doesn't matter even if you got a black Democrat running, white folks ain't voting for them. And so race is all a part of this. In Louisiana, in Alabama, in Mississippi, we can go all across the South. When you talk about party and you talk about race, they are tied. White folks are Republican. Black folks are Democrat. Republicans are anti-black, period.
You're absolutely right, Roland. And listening to him make this foolish speech as if you are not supposed to be in a position to empower the individuals who have empowered you to represent them. If you have hundreds of residents in your state coming to protest the racial tone of these maps, and you sit back and say, oh, majority of the state did not agree with you. You sat back, you and your homeboys, your red hat homeboys, and decided that this was best fit for your agenda, not the agenda of the people, because we know even in Washington, you don't care about the people that even look like you. You care about the people that follow you, follow what you want, follow what bills you need to be passed so that y'all can enrich yourselves, so that y'all can keep each other out of prison for the fraud that y'all commit on a day-to-day basis. So they can miss me with the, oh, this is what everybody want. No, everybody didn't want that. Y'all are bringing us back when we are trying to move forward because you are afraid of the power of the black person. You are afraid that, oh, we equip these Negroes now, they are unstoppable. We got to stop them. That is the tone that they set with this map. The map's going from 4-2 to 5-1. How the hell is that not racist? It makes no sense.
Michael?
Okay, now I can hear you, Roland. Well, Roland, hey, this is what we warn people about. I mean, this is predictable. This is white supremacy, white nationalism, the fear of the browning of America. But you know, when State Senator Jay Morris, I have to give it to him. He's another one of the great straight-faced bullshitters, just like Junior Varsity Vance. He sat there and told those lies with a straight face. African Americans are 33% of the state population, right? So what they just did was they protected the House seats of Mike Johnson, protected the House seats of Steve Scalise. They put the black voters into one district that snakes throughout the state. They put them into one district, but it's not about race, okay? So now they have no problem with majority white districts. They have 5 majority white districts, but it's not about race. They have no problem. The problem is when you have 2 majority black districts and there's 6 total districts, and they want to reduce it down to 1 majority black district. Okay, so this is what we warn people about. But the other thing, Roland, at the same time, when you have brain damaged Negroes on social media attacking the NAACP for their out of bounds campaign to rally, support, and crack down just on things like this, you have the political lynching continuing that's taking place. So it's been 1 month since Louisiana versus Calais Supreme Court decision. That was April 29th. Look at what has happened just in this 1 month. So this is why the fight continues, and we have to be smarter too.
When you look at this statement here, Matt, Kay Ivey says, I can tell you this, Alabama is not tired of winning. And this is why the NAACP is saying to black athletes, guess what? Let them win without y'all. People have to understand what is at play here. This is absolutely an anti-black agenda. They're targeting black people. They're targeting black power, black representation. They're targeting black communities. And folk had better wake up. And I'm telling you, black folks in Louisiana had better stop sitting their asses on the sidelines. And they should be exploding when it comes to voter registration. And they should be saying, wait until November when we wipe your asses off the map politically.
Hello.
I agree fully. And I think, you hit the nail on the head with something earlier when you said white is Republican, black is Democrat. They know that. And, there's a mental state in criminal law that I think is perfectly appropriate here. It's called knowingly. That means you do something when you know of it is going to be here to disenfranchise black voters, right? But you try to ensure this is just a whole decision. And the Supreme Court gave him the fodder to do that in saying that unless it's basically intentional discrimination, you're not going to get there. But the subterfuge with that is we all know exactly what it is. We know how those parties align alongside race. So this is exactly like Michael said, this is, the frustration with black district, and you got 5 all white districts and you're completely fine with that. It's all about race. We're just finding a way around that because people don't want to just out and out say they're racist despite acting racist. I mean, that's all it comes down to. Now in Alabama, I think there is an interesting potential wrinkle because when you were presenting this earlier, I was thinking about it. I wonder if there's going to be almost some infighting or some cannibalization, if you will, because whoever won in that election is going to say, look, you don't get to take my duly, one seat from me. And I think that could potentially affect even white people who were voted into the Alabama legislature, Alabama Senate. And you may have some infighting there, but I don't know if that will be big enough to turn the tide on anything. But as a general proposition, that's a crazy idea. We have an election, somebody wins, and then we decide we want to undo it because we like the political consequence of going with a different map. I mean, that's just per se anti-democratic. And I don't understand why I didn't just put a stay on it, because if you don't stay it, you have this exact scenario where you have an election that's being upended by the government and that, or, by the prevailing government here in Alabama. And I think that is an even more dangerous harbinger for the idea that the government can just undo election results when it decides that it wants to. What's the point of democracy then?
All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. I got to go to a break. We come back. Lots to break down, including the continued corruption of Donald Trump. We'll tell you what a federal judge said regarding that $1.8 billion white domestic reparations fund, as well as how another federal judge said, yeah, your name's got to come off the Kennedy Center because you don't have the authority to put it on there. All that we're going to talk about right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
With medicine and science under attack, I want to keep you and your family informed and healthy. I'm Dr. Ebony Hilton, and I knew at the age of 8 that I wanted to be a doctor. So I studied hard and became the first African-American female anesthesiologist hired at the Medical University of South Carolina since its opening in 1824. And I always say I was made into a doctor, but I was born to be a mom. And as a new mom, wife, sister, daughter, and friend, I understand how frightening a medical crisis can be. I care for individuals on some of the worst days of their lives, and it's my mission to provide you with a safe space to gain clarity on issues affecting your mind, body, and soul. I recognize that there are health disparities, particularly as it pertains to race, and I want to help bridge the gap between you and your healthcare providers. Join me every Thursday for Second Opinion on the Black Star Network, where each week I'll invite experts from various medical fields to share the latest health news. We'll discuss topics such as the vaccine debate, mental and sexual health, medical bias, infertility, menopause, andropause, nutrition, and aging. Together with my medical colleagues, we aim to provide you with a second opinion. Don't miss it, Thursdays only on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hey, I'm Malcolm Lee, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
Veteran Democrat Congresswoman Frederica Wilson of Florida is not going to seek re-election to her 24th congressional district. 83-year-old publicly announced that she was retiring at an event in Miami Gardens where a street was being renamed in her honor.
And I know all of you are wondering, what is the Congresswoman going to do? Well, the Congresswoman is going to not seek. I am going to travel the country, expanding the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project. The people who call our office every day asking, how do we get a program in our school district? That is what I'm going to do. I want to thank all of you for trusting me, for giving me the honor of serving you all of these years. It has been a blessing to meet all of you, to help so many people. I cannot go anywhere. The grocery store, downtown, the mall, people. Thank you, Congresswoman Wilson, for helping my son. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping my son who was in prison. Thank you for helping my mother in the nursing home. So it has been quite a journey.
Folks, she has recently been absent from Washington, D.C., missing more than 40 House votes while recovering from a second eye procedure. Wilson is known for her outspoken advocacy, decades of public service, and, of course, her cowboy hats. She's represented Florida's 24th congressional district since 2010. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries released a statement about her decision to retire. Throughout her entire career in public service, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson has been an unyielding champion of our children, a defender of the disadvantaged, and a voice for the voiceless. Representative Wilson's deep roots serving the community began as an educator and elementary school principal, eventually earning a position on the school board and later in the Florida State House and Senate. During her tenure on the school board, Frederica launched the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence Project, a nationally recognized example of incredible community leadership dedicated to empowering young men through mentorship, purpose, and pathways to future opportunity. 30 years after its founding, the 5,000 Role Models family counts mayors, professional athletes, and entrepreneurs within its ranks. I'm proud to be a role model and to have had the opportunity to support this transformative program over the years. For more than a decade in the United States House of Representatives, Frederica Wilson has been a relentless advocate for our young people, fighting to increase economic growth, create jobs, and lower costs for working families. Congresswoman Wilson forced our government to confront and begin to address the unique racial inequities persistent across our communities through her landmark bipartisan legislation to create the Commission on the Social Status of Black Men and Boys. The House Democratic Caucus will deeply miss Representative Wilson and her iconic hats. More than just her signature style, they represent her many roles throughout a lifetime of service. We are forever indebted to her for her tenacity, and we wish her and her family the very best in this next chapter. Now, here's the thing here, folks. She made this decision to retire, and she also said that the reason she chose to do so after the maps were passed in Florida is because she did not want Governor Ron DeSantis targeting her. So she said she was very strategic when it came to announcing her decision. Michael, I'll start with you. These are the kind of decisions that should have been taking place for quite some time for other people. The reality is, if you look at the last several members of Congress that have died in office, most of them have been Democrats. Folks like Jerry Connolly, Garcia. You also, of course, you had State Representative Sylvester Turner. Before that, Sheila Jackson Lee, David Scott. My deal is this here. If you're elderly, if you are constantly sick, it's time to go. You serve your time. It made no sense to me. Look, David Scott, frat brother, but I'm like, bruh, why did you file for re-election? And then he dies before the primary. And so I'm glad that Congresswoman Frederica Wilson said, listen, I served my 10 years. I've served time. It's time for me to step down, 83 years old, having health issues. And then, listen, you can live the rest of your life. You can still stay involved in public service, but you don't have to be. Public office does not mean public service.
Right, and public office is not a lifetime appointment like the U.S. Supreme Court or the federal bench either. Now, let me frame this conversation like this, okay? I appreciate those who are lifetime servants, lifetime public servants, okay? I appreciate that. Sometimes, and this may not apply to Representative Frederica Wilson, but just generally speaking, sometimes when you have somebody that's a lifetime public servant, and they care about the people, it's hard for them to step away from that position, okay? And then other times you have those whose identity is defined by that position as well, and it's ego-driven, okay? Here, you know, I'm glad she made this decision. And she's 83, and I'm not into ageism, but hey, when it's time to hang it up, it's time to hang it up, and you can still stay active in other ways. But I respect her for, you know, making this decision. And there's a lot of old ass Republicans that need to make the same decision also. So I know we've had recent deaths among Democrats, but hey, it's on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I agree with this, and I respect her for this also.
Absolutely. And Thelma, again, it's about continuity. You're representing the people. It's not about you. It's about the people you represent.
No, absolutely. I agree with what both of you have said. And I think people forget that your purpose has an expiration date. It's not meant for you to stay lifelong in a purpose for it to be fulfilled. And what I appreciate about Representative Wilson is the fact that she showed Joe Biden what he should have done. And my issue with these elected officials, when you know that you are sick, when you know that you cannot perform the duties of what the people voted you in to go and fight for them and be their voice, it's time for you to wrap it up. You stand there for an agenda of yourself. It becomes self-serving and not selfless. at that point, when you start to think about, oh, the betterment of yourself, that's not why you are put in this position. It's the betterment of the people. And when people get to a certain age, we know that things slow down. Your motor is not going to motor like it was when you were 21. It is meant to slow down. And at that point, you need to have a hard conversation with yourself, because I don't want to keep seeing people like Mitch McConnell falling out and looking ridiculous, knowing that he one foot in the grave and 1 foot out. It's time to hang it up and understand your purpose can continue in other ways. That's what I appreciate about Representative Wilson. She understood that. Regardless if she's in her 80s now, she said, you know what? I can't rooster like I used to. It's time for me to let someone else come in, despite what the governor is doing, to take on what the legacy that I've built.
Absolutely. Matt? Okay. All right. Matt working through his Wi-Fi there. All right. We'll get him back. All right, y'all. Let's talk about this here. The twice-impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief, Donald the Con Trump, got nailed today in federal court. He must remove his name from the Kennedy Center. U.S. District Judge Casey Cooper said the board violated the law by adding Trump's name to the historic performing arts venue. The judge also blocked the Kennedy Center from temporarily closing its doors for a year-long renovation. In the 94-page opinion, Judge Cooper concluded that the law establishing the center makes crystal clear that the center is to be named for President Kennedy, and it cannot bear any other formal name or public memorial based on the board's unilateral say-so. The Trump administration must remove all signage from the Kennedy Center that includes Trump's name and update its website to remove all references to the name Trump Kennedy Center or the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. It must take place within 2 weeks. Judge Cooper said the center was permanently blocked from displaying, installing, or maintaining any physical or digital signage on the Kennedy Center building or grounds that designates, suggests, or implies that the institution is named for any person other than President John F. Kennedy. Now, this was a lawsuit that was filed by Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who is an ex officio member of the board. Congresswoman Beatty, want to have her on the show. She's receiving an award, so she couldn't make it, but she did release this statement. Today's ruling rightly affirms that the administration's efforts to rename and close the center have no basis in law. The Kennedy Center is an institution that belongs to the American people, not to Donald Trump. He has desecrated this sacred memorial for his own vanity. I'm proud to have fought for the rule of law and to protect this sacred institution. The judge made it perfectly clear that only the Congress can designate whose name goes on that building, not Donald Trump. And y'all know what happens when a spoiled child throws a temper tantrum and acts like a pissant. Well, that's Donald Trump. This is what this fool posted on Truth Social. I'm not going to read all of this trash, but I'm definitely going to read the highlights. Shockingly, a judge appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, Christopher Cooper, ruled that the Kennedy Center, which was going to close in early July for large-scale renovations and construction due to years of neglect, decay, and poor maintenance, and which was to be transformed by the Trump administration into the finest facility of its kind anywhere in the world, is not allowed to close for these renovations, which would not be possible to properly do without such a closure. He then goes on. Judge Cooper ruled that the 36-member Board of Trustees, which unanimously voted to add the name Trump onto the former Kennedy Center, making it the Trump Kennedy Center, did not have the right to do such an addition, and the name Trump must be removed. Yeah, idiot, because only Congress can do that. You're not a king. So he then goes on to say, they failed to do anything with the center. Then look at this here. He was looking forward to making it into a great and prestigious winner for Washington, D.C., and indeed the United States of America. Blaming, he calls out radical left. They would rather see it die than have President Trump transform it into something that everyone could be proud of, much as I have done in many cases throughout my life, and recently with all of the construction, renovations, and fix-ups that we have completed with the Department of Interior on waterfalls, fountains, blah, 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 blah. Then he goes on, radical left Democrats. And now this, I love this here. We're going to be working with Congress to transfer this failing institution back to them so they can make a determination as to what to do with it. Okay. Y'all, you can't transfer the facility back to Congress. Congress has oversight. Congress approves the funds, but you have agencies that are responsible for doing the work. So you don't transfer the Kennedy Center back to Congress. You never had the authority to put your name on it. Oh, it gets better. Let's see here. Judge Cooper was given a presentation by leading building and construction experts as to how structurally dangerous the building is, with rotting beams, parking areas that are subject to collapse, and various other life and safety problems. In addition to the fact that it also needs a major renovation from an aesthetic standpoint, but he was not swayed, and he said he wants the building to incredibly remain open and therefore dangerous. Y'all, you know, okay, let me help y'all out. You can do repairs to the Kennedy Center. You just gotta take your punk ass name off. And that's why he's mad. Because his punk ass name gotta come off. Oh, y'all, it gets better. Here we go. Unless I am free to do what I do better than anyone else, bring this institution back physically, financially, and artistically, I have no interest in continuing what could only be a hopeless journey into Never Never Land. So what the 80-year-old obese child is saying, I can't get my way. And if I'm not going to get my way, I'm going home. I'm taking my toys with me. But the judge said, I'm sorry, the Kennedy Center is not your toy, so it has to stay. This is a petulant child. MAGA, all you maggots, y'all voted for a deranged narcissist to sit in the Oval Office. What this goes to show you is Donald Trump doesn't give a damn about America, the United States, none of that. Donald Trump only cares about Donald Trump. That's all. He doesn't care. Look at this. I have instructed the Department of Commerce to make all necessary arrangements with Congress to allow a full and complete transfer of this institution, giving them the responsibility for its operation, maintenance, and management. Y'all, he can't do that. See, let me explain to y'all how this thing works. Little thing called the Constitution. Anything that deals with money, any bill or whatever, it has to start in the House. Can't start in the Senate. It literally has to start in the House. And then once the House passes it, then it goes to the Senate. And then if they have a separate bill, then they pass it there, then they reconcile the two bills. Then the House has to vote on the reconciled bill. Then it goes to the Senate, and then it goes to the occupant of the Oval Office to sign. Congress funds departments. So you have Commerce, the Interior, Health and Human Services, Department of Agriculture. You've got the Pentagon. I mean, we can go on and on and on, listing all of the Labor, Veteran Affairs, listing all of the departments. The various federal departments have oversight of certain things. So, for instance, Donald Trump can't just say, even though he's tried this with the Education Department, Department of Labor, y'all are now in charge of the Washington Monument. Can't do that. That's not how it's done. So this idiot actually thinks that he could just, okay, Congress, I'm going to give y'all the Kennedy Center back. No, you can't. The man is an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. And he lost, and he's throwing a tantrum. Oh, but it got better. Another federal judge temporarily blocked payouts from Donald Trump's Anti-Weaponization Fund, which is really the White Domestic Terrorist Reparations Fund. Today's ruling means no money will be released for the claims through this new $1.7 billion slush fund for Trump allies who believe they were victims of a weaponized government. U.S. District Judge Leone Brikema in Alexandria, Virginia, also barred the government from moving forward with the fund's creation while litigating challenges to it. Yep, that's pending. The judge scheduled a June 12th hearing in this case to hear arguments about whether to extend the order blocking payouts from the fund. The government created the reserve to resolve Donald Trump's lawsuit against the Internal Revenue Service over the leak of his tax returns. Oh, and one more thing about those tax returns. You know the judge that was overseeing the lawsuit? And you know that judge has said, you know what? I'm going to reopen the case because there might be deception involved. Ooh, y'all, my man hit the hat trick today. Donald Trump hit the hat trick. The judge said, yeah, I got some problems. I got some problems with what y'all have done. So, yeah, because you know what they did? They pulled the suit so the judge couldn't have oversight, and then they cut the deal for this settlement. And y'all, they thought they were trying to do a get over. They were like, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to do this settlement, and then Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal attorney. So Todd, what I need you to do is you're going to go ahead and sign off on this thing, and see, when you sign off on this thing, we're going to have the authority to create this fund. And so then I'm going to hand out checks to all my white domestic terrorists who got busted. And so that's how we're going to do it. That's the play. We're going to run the play. All right, hut. Well, guess what? This judge in Miami said, I don't know. Her name is Kathleen Williams. Go to my iPad. She said, you know what? I need to investigate grievous allegations that the deal, quote, was premised on deception. New York Times writes Judge Williams' decision came in response to court papers filed on Wednesday by a bipartisan group of 35 former federal judges who urged her to bring the case back to life and dig into the details of the agreement to settle it. Before she closed the case, Judge Williams, an Obama appointee, had questioned whether the lawsuit presented an actual conflict that she could adjudicate, given that Trump was on both sides of the suit, bringing claims against the federal agency that he controlled. When she closed it, she noted that there was no settlement of record, but shortly after, the Justice Department released its agreement for closing the action. Oh my God. I could just, all I hear is Stevie Wonder. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? See, Trump can't control this federal judge like he can that fool, other judge in Miami, you know, the one who, what's her, I forgot her name, Patton, crazy head, cockeyed, I can't remember her name. Anyway, so, y'all 0 for 3. Matt, that's called getting your ass kicked in court. I mean, it's just like, ass whooping. Oh, shit, I got slapped over here. Damn. So he basically got slapped on this side, and slapped on his ass. He just got straight up jacked today.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I mean, judges are typically pretty, what's the word? They're reticent to be activists and to say things in an incendiary way. But there's little Easter eggs you can read from, at least what I've seen reported, that let you know how the judges feel. When a judge says, for instance, this violates the clear language of the statute, that's telling you you're bringing me some BS, right? It's very obvious what your power is here and what your power isn't. So you're renaming the Kennedy Center is a direct affront to the law, and I'm not going to allow that. And I think what's especially interesting with the Weaponization Fund is you have 35 former federal judges, a bipartisan group, who filed the equivalent of an amici, type brief. But apparently they basically urged the court to look into the substance of the deal. And what's really interesting about this procedurally is normally when you dismiss a case in federal court, the judge doesn't really get to look at all the merits of why you're dismissing it. There's certain rules as to when they can dismiss it and when they can't. But the larger point is they're not always looking at settlements. But what happened here is the judge got tipped off by these other judges saying, I think they lied to you about something. And it looks like she's doing an inquiry into whether there was a fraud on the court. I recently had this happen in one of my cases, and I will tell you, federal judges have a lot of power, and they really, really, really get pissed off if they think somebody's lying to them. So I'm especially interested in seeing how that turns out, because that judge is saying, look, you guys tried to pull the wool over my eyes. I'm absolutely going to get to the bottom of this. And just as a basic premise, I mean, you can't really have a lawsuit against yourself. That's what makes this so per se corrupt, right? It's self-dealing. And that's the crux of all of this. Trump's trying to pay himself with taxpayer money through this fund. But if you look at the procedure, they withdrew the complaint or the lawsuit once there were questions, being bandied about what was going on, and then they decided to come up with this settlement. So I think you're looking at potential actions from the court that could really implicate people, their law licenses, whether people were dishonest with the court, and there could be a much larger thing going on here than just whether this fund is set up or not.
Yeah, I mean, like this is what the New York Times says. In her brief but stern order on Friday, Judge Williams said that she wanted to investigate the circumstances surrounding Trump's efforts to settle the lawsuit in a way that benefited him and his allies, asserting that she was, quote, empowered to investigate serious misconduct. In a case before her, she ordered Trump's lawyers to tell her by June 12th whether the case should be formally reopened because, quote, the court was the victim of a fraud, and whether Trump had colluded with his own government to settle the case, quote, to avoid judicial scrutiny. She pointed to reporting by the New York Times that described how the IRS had prepared a 25-page memorandum outlining defenses against the suit that the Justice Department did not take up in court. Thelma, Matt's right. Federal judges have lots of power. And we already know how Trump has been busted for lying to federal judges. And so they're now going to have to bring in paperwork saying, yeah, my bad. When was this dated? Yeah, this thing was dated. Oh, and don't start trying to change the paperwork. So what she's saying is, I need to see all that correspondence. I need to see those emails. I need to see all those memos because I want to know, did y'all draw up this agreement before I close the case? Meaning, y'all were playing in my face.
And playing in her face, they was doing. And here's the thing that I said this when Trump became president. I said, not only are we going to have a melting pot of every industry, specifically the legal industry, we're going to see exactly the corruption that goes on within the legal profession. And this is nothing but it being put on display. When a judge says, y'all came in my court and had the audacity to use the black letter law to try to persuade me when y'all already knew the plan and the plot before you came in here and you deceived me. But see, your deception is now my detection. And now we finna roll this back because I want to see everything because now I'm finna check the metadata. And when they start checking that metadata is going to track the dates. And those dates don't lie, but they did. And they're going to get caught up in it. And guess what? It's going to cause those lawyers to have disciplinary problems. They could be disbarred because when a federal judge say you lying, they're definitely going to report you to the bar. And the way that they report it is not like none other. It's going to be in a way that the board has no other option but to suspend or disbar you because you allow a convicted felon to dictate your ethics that you swore under to come into my courtroom. But this is just the onset of what Trump and his fraudsters have been doing. But we have to have judges that lean on the law, the integrity, the truthfulness, the honesty of what this profession is supposed to be and not what MAGA wants it to be, which is their way to come in and enrich, steal, kill, and destroy.
Absolutely. So he just keeps taking L's, Michael.
Well, most losers do. And, this is good news on a Friday. And I read the piece that just came out from the New York Times on this as well. And Judge Kathleen Williams noted that when she closed the case, when the case closed previously, that there was no settlement of record. Okay, so this is one of the things that has come up in the analysis of this. Okay, so you filed this frivolous lawsuit against the IRS for $10 billion, right? There's no settlement of record, but then you create this $1,776,000 fund and talk about this is for people who were the victims of weaponization of the government. And a lot of people are saying this is Donald Trump's attempt to fund his personal militia so that the January 6th insurrectionists, who he gave a pardon to, 1,500 of them, can now get money after they assaulted police officers and stormed the Capitol, because who knows what's going to happen if he needs them again. Okay? So we have to understand how all of this is connected. So this is, once again, the reason why you have to have good federal judges. This federal judge was nominated by Obama, and then also Judge Burkima nominated by President Clinton as well. So all those people out there who said judges don't matter, your ass probably didn't read any of Project 2025 either and don't know what's going on. You know, so we have to understand how all of this is connected. But so we'll see how this works out, but the fight continues.
Keep taking those L's. All right, y'all. Quick break. We come back. Drama in the New York Giants locker room, beyond the fact that they suck as a football team. Their quarterback, Jackson, whatever his name is, Jackson Dart, you know, he introduced Trump at a rally. Why are you laughing, Matt? They do. They suck. They
So
suck.
you said they suck. I'm a Cowboys fan. I hate the Giants. So
Shit, y'all suck too. Y'all suck more than they do.
That's not the point. We hate the
I
Giants.
mean, like if you gonna laugh, if you gonna laugh, I mean, you were laughing too much. Y'all really suck. Y'all really suck.
See, yeah, come on, Roland.
Y'all
Go ahead.
do.
Go
Y'all
ahead on.
suck.
The season ain't started yet, Roland. It's a new season.
No, that's not. Yeah, right now they still suck in the off season. So it's like, I mean, they suck. The Cowboys suck. So let's just
Don't blaspheme America's team. Just keep pushing.
Let's just like,
Keep on
dude,
pushing.
you're not even in Dallas. You're in Arlington. So y'all suck. So let's just be real clear. Y'all are terrible. Your team is terrible. So keep laughing.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. They're gonna buy a ticket like everybody else.
Exactly.
So they can keep
Don't win that shit.
they can keep it. They can keep sitting here. You can laugh, but yes, the Giants suck. And again, just in case, Matt, you'd be reminded of this. This took place at your stadium.
Oh God! Here we
See, you got a weak ass Cowboy fan who's directing the show, and see, he thinks he's not gonna pull it up. But see, he's not gonna get paid if he don't pull this up. So I advise Henry to go ahead and punch that. I advise Henry to punch that button, or I'm telling you, because I'm telling you right now, I approve.
I would advise Henry to call the EEOC.
No, you call it EEOC because you call EEOC. Let me remind you, I approve invoices. Let me also remind Henry, I dictate who directs each day. So you might not
Henry
might not be able to even put an invoice in because he may not be directing for the next month.
Hero, give Henry my number.
Yeah, see, oh yeah, boy, it's amazing. It's amazing. Oh hell yeah, it's amazing how they got punched. Oh yeah, it's amazing how they got punched. So I just wanted to remind y'all, no, keep it up. Bring it back up.
This workplace violence.
I just want to remind Matt who beat your ass in your stadium, like smacked the shit out of you. So next time, keep the Texans out your mouth, except say, way to go for beating our ass. There you go. Now, Henry.
Literally, you feel some kind of way. Nobody said anything about the Texans.
Now, Henry, you can come back to the panel. Yes, I thought so. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Jackson Dart. Speaking of the Trump rally, and man, his teammate lit his ass up. That then led to a team meeting. Now Dart comes out today to address it. Carter comes out today to address it. And you know Jameis Winston has something to say too. We're going to show all that next on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget, support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. Y'all, this is the realest, blackest show out here. Don't nobody do what we do. No radio show, no TV show, no digital show can touch what we do. And so y'all want to support what we do, please do so by joining our Bring the Funk fan club. You want to contribute via Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Check some money order, make it payable. First of all, you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com if you want to support the show. Check some money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 2003 7-0196. PayPal's R. Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
No election in Georgia will ever be the same. You're not gonna be able to tell black folk your vote don't matter in 2 years when it's the gubernatorial race and these state legislative races, that we don't have the power to win a state Senate seat. Now I say that, but this is the caveat. This is the tricky part. This was possible because there were more resources than we've ever seen in this state. The question is going to be, now that we done saved the country and white folks in the country aren't feeling like the world is falling apart, is there going to be the same kind of investment in black-led organizations and in black communities? If there is, there's no election in the state that we can't win. There's no election in the South we can't win. We'll still be motivated. We still will have learned lessons. Black folks still going to be amped. But at the end of the day, it's not sustainable. We can't really count on external funding long term. Independent politics requires independent money. When we can combine that kind of economic power with the political power, now we're talking. That's nation building. That's what we're trying to get to.
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
I'm Brittany Noble, Midwest-born, HBCU educated with experience in newsrooms across the country. Well, I've teamed up with Roland Martin to bring to you The Breakdown. This isn't just news. It's our stories, our voice, our community. Join me for The Breakdown, Monday through Friday at midday, only on the Black Star Network.
How you doing? I'm Mark Curry, and you're watching the Black Star Network. That's why I got these glasses on, because that black star is bright.
All right, y'all, a week ago, this took place. Trump had a rally in New York, and so they had Jackson Dart, the starting quarterback for the New York Giants, introduce him. Well, let's just say that caused a stir. Linebacker for the Giants, Abdul Carter, he posted a tweet. He said, what the hell is this? Is this AI? And man, that led to all kinds of drama. Well, today, Jackson Dart came out and addressed at a news conference. Here's some of what the white quarterback had to say.
My thinking was pretty simple in the fact of, I've always loved this country. I have extended family members who have fought in wars. I have two uncles who have retired from the Air Force Academy and served themselves. And I even have
Okay, so he said a whole bunch of stuff. So, I support the country, it's like I support the office, blah, blah, and all that sort of stuff like that. And conservative media, they've been losing their mind. They're upset because they're mad that Abdul Carter, who's a Muslim, made his comments saying, is this AI? And I'm like, yo. And so Carter let them know. And so again, they had this big old meeting in the locker room, and they were talking about it. And Carter, he also before the cameras, he made it clear, like, yo, I ain't gonna be talking about this a whole lot. This is the only time I'm gonna address this thing. So this is what he had to say.
So first off, I want to say that some things are bigger than football, and this is one of those things. Jackson is one of our leaders. He's the face of our franchise. He not only represents himself and what he does, but he represents all of us. And that goes for anybody who wears a Giants uniform. But if he chooses to align himself with a man like President Trump, it's my responsibility, based on what I believe and what I stand on, to not only show my teammates that I'm against that, but to show the world. And that doesn't mean that we have to spread hate. it doesn't mean that me and Jackson hate each other or we have beef. I sit next to Jackson every day, every team meeting, we close, we talk. You know, as long as we make sure we got the same goal as a team and our goals align, which they do, and I feel like that's all that matters. So I just want to move past this, and yeah, that's it.
That shit, bro. So there was a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth, and of course, conservative media, they jumped in there. They were all upset. Well, what if somebody introduced, Obama? What happened when LeBron and Steph did it? Whatever. But leave it up to New York Giants backup quarterback Jameis Winston to bring some much-needed perspective to this. This brother here is going to be incredible when his playing days are over. Matter of fact, he should get as big a deal as the one Tom Brady got from Fox, that 10-year, $375 million contract. Listen to this.
I'm about to show you how you turn uncomfortable into a growing moment. I'm from a city, Birmingham, Alabama, where they blew up a church with 4 little girls, and their parents and family had to go around picking up their limbs in the Deep South. Picking up their limbs, 4 little girls. I'm from a city where a little 9-year-old girl who decided to march got put in jail for volunteering her right of free speech, for standing on what she believes in. That's history. And I believe history repeats itself. But I also believe in respecting authority, respecting treating the man and the woman as I would like to be treated. That is how uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable times help unify people, because you know them, you realize from them, and you grow from them. Right now, I haven't been a part of any openly traumatizing things like that happen, not 250 years ago when this country came into existence. But try about 80 years ago. We got people that still live during that time. Those little girls will still be living right now. That 9-year-old girl that got sprayed with hoses and you put dogs on her and put her in jail, she's still living right now. It's a little children's book. I read this book about this 9-year-old marcher to my kids. That's why educating our youth and informing them of our history is so important. A lot of people try to push it past. You're like, oh my gosh, like that's behind us. No, guys, we living in it right now. We got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white kid and a black Muslim religion black kid who are coming together and showing the world that we can come together. We can happen. We don't have to see everything. Everything doesn't have to be viewed in this perfect little snow.
So what's interesting is, again, as you look at all this other stuff, I mean, Abdul was right. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, yo, you want to ride with that dude? I'm going to say something. And he should say something. And here's the deal. Jackson Dart, if you want to ride with Trump, go on right ahead. We'll deal with the consequences after the fact. And listen, understand, y'all, when you look at NFL locker rooms, you know what typically happens? You got your white players and your black players. You got your white linemen, especially offensive linemen, many of them going to be Republican. When the Freddie Gray stuff happened in Baltimore, yo, you had white cops. When George Floyd happened, you had white football players were like, yo, I don't understand. Why can't y'all comply? And the black players were like, let me explain to you how this shit go down. This all happens. And so, Jackson Dart, you chose to step your ass out there, you know, and speak at the Trump rally. You can talk about all you want to. Oh, no, I just respect the office. That was the same thing Nelly said while he performed the inauguration. Oh, I respect the office, and my family got a military background, so I respect the office. Well, guess what? You're going to get to catch that heat that come with it, especially when you have an insurrectionist, a lying, narcissistic, corrupt asshole who you're speaking and representing. You got to deal with it. And so he's now going, they can sit here and what's his name? John Harbaugh. This is what the head coach of the Giants had to say when he was questioned.
John, just to clarify. You said you knew that Jackson was going to meet the president and shake his hand. Did you know that it was going to be in a public way introducing the president?
No, but it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, I'm not worried about it. I'm not into all those details about it. It's not.
Now, John Harbaugh, he knows. Remember that smiling photo of him in the Oval Office? And he had a trash-ass season with the Baltimore Ravens. That's why he got fired. I guess Abdul Carter's saying, say, man, you get close to Trump, you're going to end up losing. Carter's like, I ain't trying to lose on this team. I think that's what he was telling them, Matt. He was like, yo, if you want to line with that racist, you want to line with that piece of crap, go right ahead. But don't think for a second I'm not going to call you out because you're the quarterback. And it's been all this conversation. There's been more conversation about Jackson Dart and really more Abdul Carter's response, because you got Boomer Esiason criticizing him. Skip Bayless said he shouldn't go public. It's like it's a whole lot of conversation, but you know what you have not heard a lot about in all of this is the fact that the Giants owner, Steve Tisch, was kicking it with girls with Jeffrey Epstein. Ain't that interesting? They spend more time talking about Carter's response to Dart as opposed to the Giants owner talking about getting with girls with Jeffrey Epstein. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, deflect in every other direction. I mean, we're seeing that everywhere. I don't have much to add beyond a couple things. First, I think there's still an underlying, problem that people have with athletes having political positions at all. I think there's still a lot of people who think they need to shut up and dribble or play the sport, right? And they shouldn't be weighing in. They're people, they're going to have their opinions. I support Jackson Dart's, ability to have his First Amendment opinion and to support whomever he wants. But this is really not about that. This is about consequences. And when you're the quarterback of the team and you align with somebody who's as much a hot button issue as Mr. Trump is, then you can expect you're going to have backlash. And I think it's good that Carter called him out. I wonder how these conversations actually happen behind closed doors, because the problem is when we see it through the prism of public statements, we're getting the little bit of what they say. I don't know what's really happening in the locker room, but I don't think you can be surprised. I mean, especially when you have somebody like Trump, because when you play on a team with a lot of brothers, if you have somebody who is through his policy and through his rhetoric saying he hates black people, what do you expect to happen? People are going to feel some kind of way about that, and that's going to create a division. But, none of this is surprising to me, especially because, the way the NFL tries to portray itself as, this purely American sport and this big time, the backlash when people get mad at the Super Bowl performer and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think some of these things are all tied together, but it doesn't surprise me that he's supporting Mr. Trump. I bet a lot of NFL players do. And it's good that you have divergent opinions, somebody calling them out. That's exactly what needs to happen.
And it's like, hey, Thelma, it's all good. You want to stand up with your boy Trump, go right ahead. But expect to get your ass lit up too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it makes me think of how the NFL really put Shador Sanders through hell for being raised right and being respectful and knowing how to articulate and knowing his value. But when we're looking at it, a quarterback, quarterbacks are considered the nucleus, considered the leader, the face of the franchise. And when you go out and make a mockery of the franchise in the face of individuals that look like me, you're showing the disrespect. You're showing the lack of leadership. You're showing that we can't trust you. Like we say, we don't care who you align with, but when you put it in our face to let us know, like this what it is, well, we finna show you what it is. We're going to start speaking up. We're going to start articulating. We're going to start letting you know. And you better also understand that when it's time to go on that field, guess who got to protect you? So you going to play in our face for the president, but we got to protect you on that field. Pick your side wisely. But he showed us the side that he picked. He ain't picked the side of his teammates. He picked the side of his ego. And that will fail each and every time.
No, absolutely. Michael, is interesting. Again, seeing this reaction, and again, folks are all upset and they mad. It's like, well, double standard. What would happen if the quarterback went out and introduced Obama? Well, Obama wasn't corrupt, wasn't a sexual predator, and wasn't a convicted felon.
And Obama didn't incite an insurrection either and sent domestic terrorists to the U.S. Capitol and then gave a pardon to 1,500 of them. So Roland, the NFL is between 53% to about 63% black, depending upon which season. It varies from season to season.
I'm sorry. That's on the field. That is not that is not in the executive suite or the owner's suite. But go ahead.
No, I'm at the field. I'm at the field because they keep us playing in the field because we were in cotton fields. I'm talking about the field. Okay, so then when you have a display like this, right, and you have Jackson Dart introducing Trump, but then trying to defend it and say, he had family members that served in the military. Trump doesn't respect the military, and none of Trump's family members ever served in the military. Okay. And then he talks about he respects the position. Donald Trump doesn't respect the position. But this reminds me of the day after the 2024 election when a lot of African Americans went back to work and we were looking at white people at work and wondering which one of you people, I'm about to call them something else, which one of y'all voted for Trump? I think a lot of these brothers on this team are going to sit back if they don't know exactly who voted for Trump. They're like, okay, so you support this? What's going on? This is the most anti-black administration we have seen in decades. Even worse than the Reagan administration. And you sitting up here supporting this? I think it's going to cause a lot of brothers to rethink, okay, who are we surrounding ourselves with? Who are we on this team with? This is a deeper conversation. Now, it sounds like Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter, have, put the disagreement aside and, we'll continue to work together. But this is something deep right here.
Yep.
Because you're going to be silent while all this devastation takes place.
Yeah.
And the attack on African Americans, attack on DEI, things of this nature. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yep. Well, bottom line is, Jackson, you got to suck it up. All right, y'all. Let's talk entertainment. Donald Trump, just so y'all know, that was a bipartisan, nonpartisan commission that was set up to lead this big celebration of the country's 250th anniversary. Well, Donald Trump was like, you know what? The hell with y'all. I'm doing my own committee. So that's where this Great American State Fair idea came from. So it's supposed to take place on July 4th. You also know he's got his wife beater Dana White in the UFC coming to the White House for a UFC fight on June 14th. What's crazy is they're trying to order military members to attend this thing. They have height and weight requirements, and they're mandating they actually pay for their tickets. I'd be like, deuces to y'all. But anyway, so this was the flyer that was put out for the Freedom 250 Great American State Fair. And so you see right here, Martina McBride, country star, Young MC, CC, Music Factory, Vanilla Ice, Milli Vanilli, The Commodores, Morris Day and the Time, Flo Rida, Bret Michaels, okay? So stuff taking place between June 25th and July 10th. So these people accepted. Well, all of a sudden they began to find out really what this thing was about. And so all of a sudden, let's see, McBride announced, I'm not gonna perform. Young MC, nah, I'm good. The dude with CNC Music Factory, first of all, I don't even know why they coming, because they only got one song, and the song they got was really Martha Wash singing, and we already know what the fraud there was. She wasn't even in the video. They had this other tall, fine chick. Martha is a larger sister, but they wanted Martha's voice. She had to sue them. Her name wasn't even on the album. So, I don't know. Like, are they going to do a set or a song? I don't know. Okay, so the Commodores, appreciate the Commodores, but Lionel Richie not going to be there. Okay, so Milli Vanilli, one of them died. They only got, like, I don't know what the hell that's about. So we know this broke white boy here, Vanilla Ice. Oh, he got us one song. Morris Day and the Time, they said, yeah, Morris like, y'all ain't going to see us there. Flo Rida, they've been lighting his ass up because he has not announced that he's pulling out. Even Bret Michaels was like, yeah, I'm not sure about safety for my fans, so I'm out as well. So now they are blasting them. Now they're blasting them. They're trashing all of them. In fact, Martina McBride is catching lots of hell from the country people You look at this right here. Fans shred country star Martina McBride after she caves to mob and bails on Great American State Fair. Well, y'all, it was, no, they were like, we were out. She actually released a statement on this very thing here because she and others were like, yo, we thought this was a nonpartisan thing, and this thing is really being positioned as a Donald Trump celebration. And so she posted this statement. I would like to talk to you and clear the air. I will not be performing at the Great American State Fair on June 25th. I was presented with an opportunity to perform at a nonpartisan event, but that turned out to be misleading. I asked a lot of questions and was assured that this was a nonpartisan event that was meant to celebrate all 50 states. In my mind, I thought this was a great way to celebrate the states and also bring people together in the way that only music can. I saw it as just a bigger version of so many state fairs I have performed at over the years, celebrating community and what makes each state special. Sounds fun, right? Wholesome even. Yesterday, things started changing, and what we were told is, in fact, not what is happening. I spent my entire career singing songs about real people with real issues. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be a voice for those who have felt like they didn't have one. It greatly upsets me. Any fan who has been moved by my music may now feel like I'm abandoning the meaning behind those songs. I assure you that that is not the case. I appreciate every single fan who has reached out. I hope to get back to the D.C. area very soon. Well, now they pissed off at her. And y'all know how them white folks are with country music. Hell, they still mad at the Dixie Chicks when the comments that they made. But the thing here is, again, it was presented. People thought it was this one commission when it was Trump's commission. And frankly, Thelma, if I'm one of these artists, hell no, I'm not going to nothing that's going to be a Trump party. And so they damn sure right. Now the question is, now remember that Kid Rock, festival you're supposed to put on? Then they found out really that wasn't but a big joke as well. And artist after artist began to pull out. Remember they had that flyer, Ludacris' name was on it. And then he was like, yeah, we out. Matter of fact, somebody put out this here. This is the flyer. All the artists, so these are all the artists that have canceled from this old event. So of the 9 artists, the only 2 that have yet to cancel, Vanilla Ice said he is going to perform, and Flo Rida ain't said nothing, but is now just 2 of the 9 left. But again, so remember that. So I remember that Kid Rock rocked the country deal, which was hilarious. If I can find that flyer, they had all these names on it, and they dropped out one by one, by one, and they finally was like, "Dawg, just go ahead and cancel this whole damn thing, because that shit ain't gonna happen."
What is hilarious about this whole thing is, my question is the artist. So what did they sell y'all? Did they let y'all know that this was going to be Trump affiliate, or did they try to sell you something different to where you didn't know this was going to be posted and then it was going to actually identify who was behind the whole event? I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I can't give them the benefit of the doubt because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to know who you are performing for.
No,
and who you are putting your name.
But got to remember, some of them say it was misleading because you did have 2 committees. You had a bipartisan, you had this nonpartisan committee, and then Trump decided to create his own committee that sounded just like that one. And when they reach out to talent agents and booking agents or whatever, if they hear, hey, a celebration in Washington, D.C. of the nation's 250th anniversary, here's what it is, and you see the name, you're not even realizing that Trump just subverted the actual committee that was set up years ago to plan for this, to decide to do his own thing.
Well, now I gotta sue you for tortious interference of business because now you interfering with my business, my bottom line, by misleading and not actually telling me who is behind this whole event, with you coming in and circumvent or not. My thing is, why are they continuing to pander these individuals and mislead them so that now their reputation is harmed when y'all could have been upfront? And so the people could have told you no. Everybody has a right to say no. They are literally taking people's rights to say no away from them. And then from the public, I'm like, so you showing up to perform for that mess? And we buy your music, we stream you, we come to the concerts, we show up, we sing our hearts out, and you going to sing your heart out for a MAGA predator convicted felon? Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out if I need to sue them for torturous interference of business, honestly.
Michael?
All right, Roland. So yeah, I've been following this and it's hilarious. And also sometimes with artists, their booking agents will book different venues and book them to perform here, perform there, and they don't know it. They don't know all the details as well. But yeah, I'm glad I follow Morris Day on Facebook. So I saw him post that they're not performing. So I was really glad to hear that. CNC Music Factory, that was Freedom Williams of CNC Music Factory rolling the picture there. So let's put some respect on Freedom Williams' name. And they had more than one big hit. They also had things that make you go, So they had Gonna Make You Sweat.
Michael, stop.
Okay,
Michael, stop. Michael.
I'm serious.
Michael, stop.
I'm serious.
Michael, stop it.
I still have a CD.
Michael, they got one hit.
Yeah. He had two. Well, Gonna Make You Sweat was the big hit.
And wait a minute. And the only reason that song was a hit was because of Martha Wash, and she wasn't even in the video. She wasn't in the video. She wasn't in the credits. She had to sue their ass, so she ain't gonna be there. So so you gonna have somebody on a track. You gonna have somebody on a track singing her part.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna have somebody else.
They ain't having nobody singing like her.
Well, nobody can sing like Martha Wash.
And just like she had to sue the other group for everybody, when they wouldn't put her in the video, they put some other sexy woman in the video, and that was her voice too.
Right, yeah, that was body shaming taking place.
But your ass literally vouching for what you think is a two-hit wonder, not a one-hit wonder.
Well, Vanilla Ice is a one-hit wonder.
I already said that. But you vouching like CNC Music Factory had a whole album banging.
I didn't say they had a whole album banging.
Not even a half an album.
Roland, I said they had two hits.
Not even a quarter of an album.
Okay, and then that was Fabrice.
Matt gone. Matt, I can't listen to any more of this from Michael. Matt gone.
Dang, Matt.
Why do we come on this show and let this happen every week that we come on, Michael? I don't understand it. But that's a conversation.
Roland likes having us, Look, I ain't get a chance to talk about Brett Michaels.
Here's my thought. So I think Michael was kind of getting to where I was, which is I'm a little dubious that they didn't necessarily know what they were signing up for. I mean, that's plausible, right? But it's also plausible that they wanted the exposure, and they're now ducking out because of backlash or whatever the case may be. Although I think in this case, it's probably more likely they really were misled, because it sounds like that's what I think Young MC said in a statement. I could be incorrect, but that there were some details that they were unclear on, and once they found out what it really was, they decided to back out. But look, people act in their own self-interest, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of these artists said, let me go ahead and get it, because I'll get the exposure and I'll get the money and I'll deal with fans, being mad about it. And I think on some level there is a question about with entertainers, to what extent should they be allowed to ply their trade, even if it's for somebody that you don't like. However, we also have a lot of evidence, in the past of artists who stood up and said, I'm not going to perform here because you don't allow black people to perform, right? Or I'm not going to perform here because of your stance on whatever other issues. So, morally, if that's something that is really a conviction of yours, you should be able to stand up and say, I'm not going to perform at a Trump-aligned event. And that's what makes me think maybe they concealed all the details to try to dupe them into performing. And we know that's kind of his MO, right? It's not being straight up about things and being fraudulent. So that might have been exactly what happened here.
Yeah, okay. Bottom line is they all gonna cancel. And Trump gonna be out there doing his dumbass dance by himself, and maybe gonna have the village people perform every single day. All right, y'all. Employees of the Department of Labor received a long email strongly urging them to report violations of the Trump administration's ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The email sent to DOL workers on May 22nd said that DEI-related discrimination could include any employment action as motivated by an employee's or applicant's race, sex, national origin, or religion. It could also include practices like demographic targets or quotas in hiring or promotion, excluding candidates from training or networking opportunities and DEI training that stereotypes or demean employees. From the man who demeans people. The memo shows the DOL's commitment to continue the Trump administration's efforts to crack down on diversity initiatives following a 2025 executive order. Workers can report alleged violations for up to 3 years under the Office of Special Counsel statute of limitations, meaning they can flag instances dating back to the Biden administration. Idiots. You don't have any control over that. Folks, on Monday, the murder trial for 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony begins in Collin County, Texas. Anthony is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Austin Metcalf. On April 2nd, 2025, Metcalf and Anthony, both 17, got into an altercation at a Frisco ISD track meet. Anthony says he was only protecting himself when Metcalf, according to witness statements to police, tried to shove Anthony, who attended a rival high school, out of a pop-up tent. That's when Anthony grabbed a knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the heart. The emotionally charged, high-profile case has led to protests, threats, and doxing calls targeting both families and even a judge involved in the case. Thelma's going to be attending the trial and covering it for us. Thelma, this has gotten lots of attention. And just for folks who don't know, Collin County is north of Dallas County, but it ain't Dallas County.
It is not Dallas County by a long shot.
So explain, just give people just a sense of what it's been like with all of the coverage of this case.
So when this case first happened, I started reporting on it because I wanted people to understand what the law actually means when it's self-defense. It was self-defense element from the beginning. So covering the story, it has become one of the most toxic environments because it became race related and not so much on the African American side. It immediately became a MAGA infused racial tone. And I can identify the people who started, but that's not the point. The point is this case should be tried in the court where jurors have the ability to hear the evidence and make a determination on the law. But because it's been so fueled, we have now to think, okay, is the jury pool being tainted because of race? And that's when it comes to Collin County. Collin County is one of the counties that if you get in trouble in Collin County, you better hope that God sent all his disciples down, because especially if you're a person of color. But covering it, I can even attest to me receiving phone calls of threats because I covered it. But I ain't never scared, especially when it comes to my people, because self-defense is such a hard element for people to grasp. I wanted to break it down so people can understand you cannot approach someone, take their items, assault them, which is considered a robbery in the state of Texas, and they don't get to defend themselves with the force that they believe is necessary to detain the threat that an individual invoked upon them. So when we're looking at it from a full lens, I believe that the way that the court has put the gag order has forced people to the documents to be sealed was the best thing for the integrity of this case.
Well, it's going to be certainly interesting to see what happens, and so we'll look forward to your daily dispatches from the court. All right, let's quickly go to our Black Star Network headlines. We'll do that after the break. We'll come back after the break. We'll do the Black Star Network headlines. And then I got to show y'all crazy-ass racist white people. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
No election in Georgia will ever be the same. You're not gonna be able to tell black folk your vote don't matter in 2 years when it's the gubernatorial race and these state legislative races, that we don't have the power to win a state Senate seat. Now I say that, but this is the caveat. This is the tricky part. This was possible because there were more resources than we've ever seen in this state. The question is gonna be, now that we done saved the country and white folks in the country aren't feeling like the world is falling apart, is there going to be the same kind of investment in black-led organizations and in black communities? If there is, there's no election in the state that we can't win. There's no election in the South we can't win. We'll still be motivated. We still will have learned lessons. Black folks still going to be amped. But at the end of the day, it's not sustainable. We can't really count on external funding long term. Independent politics requires independent money. When we can combine that kind of economic power with the political power, now we're talking. That's nation building. That's what we're trying to get to.
All right, folks, let me tell you about Chapter. Now, if you're on Medicare or about to be, the system is not set up to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans, and too many people making money off of your confusion. And look, we're used to this. We're no strangers to systems that don't have our best interests at heart. But we don't have to accept it when it comes to Medicare. That's why I'm telling you about Chapter. Their advisors are independent and honest. In fact, they're the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. And they're focused on one thing: what works for you. If there's a better plan out there, they'll find it. If you're already in the right one, they'll tell you that too. There are no games. Just last year, people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100. It's 20 minutes and a real person. It's completely free. My parents actually have already called. My mom sent me a text. Folks, give Chapter a call at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281, and connect with someone you can trust. Folks, these are the kind of services that we need for our audience here at Roland Martin Unfiltered and the Black Star Network. So call Chapter right now, 724-264-8281.
Hi, I'm Swing Cash, Basketball Hall of Famer, and you're watching Black Star Network.
All right, folks, time for Black Star Network headlines with Brittany Noble.
A pregnant woman and her 4-year-old from Ghana, who have been detained for more than a week at a Washington, D.C. airport, will be heading back home. 38-year-old Annabella Geisy and her son arrived at Dulles International Airport May 19th with a valid tourist visa to seek medical treatment for her son's deformed hands. U.S. District Judge Liana Burkima told the government that the pregnant woman who came to the United States for a medical appointment for her child must be released from the hold room at the airport before the end of the day. She brought her son to the U.S. in 2024 to see a specialist for physical abnormalities. The ICE agent accused of shooting a Venezuelan immigrant during Minnesota's controversial Operation Metro Surge was arrested in Texas today. The Department of Homeland Security, general agents, and Texas Rangers arrested 52-year-old Christian Castro. Castro is charged with 4 counts of second-degree assault and 1 count of falsely reporting a crime for the January 14th incident. Authorities say he charged through the front door of 24-year-old Julio Cesar Sosa Solis's home, shooting him in the leg as they were searching for 26-year-old Alfredo Alejandro Aljorna. Castro lied about what happened, saying that Sosa Solis attacked federal agents with a shovel and a broomstick. Investigators later determined that the account was false and that federal prosecutors dropped the case against Sosa Solis. The former superintendent for Iowa's largest school district was sentenced to 2 years in prison today. ICE arrested the former leader of the Des Moines Public School District, Ian Roberts, in September. Roberts pleaded guilty in January to falsely claiming to be a U.S. citizen and illegally possessing firearms. Prosecutors say Roberts knowingly lacked employment authorization during his nearly 2-decade career in urban education and submitted a counterfeit Social Security card to get the job. In the courtroom, Roberts wiped away tears and told U.S. District Judge Rebecca Goodgame Ebinger that he regretted what he did. Roberts' attorney said that they expect that he will be deported to his native home in Guyana, South America, after he serves his sentence. Well, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing may print a commemorative $250 bill featuring President Donald Trump to mark the country's 250th anniversary. A Treasury Department spokesperson confirmed the plans in a statement, saying it was conducting appropriate planning and due diligence in response to active legislation. South Carolina Republican Representative Joe Wilson introduced that legislation. The design features a stern portrait of Trump with the flag's colors, the 250 logo, and the president's signature. U.S. law generally prohibits living people from appearing on currency, meaning any exception would have to be authorized by Congress. Black triplets, who doctors once said might never survive, are now proud HBCU graduates. Gabrielle, Nathaniel, and Janelle Morency were born prematurely at 30 weeks. Doctors warned their parents that carrying triplets made the pregnancy high risk. They recommended reducing the pregnancy to increase the chances of survival. However, the Morencys refused, and now, nearly 2 decades later, all three have graduated from Oakwood University. Janelle is pursuing a career in trauma surgery. Nathaniel is headed into cybersecurity, and Gabriel is headed to Johns Hopkins University to pursue electrical engineering. Their parents say they feel blessed and grateful for what they describe as a God-given gift.
All right, Brittany, thanks a lot. Be sure to watch The Breakdown of Brittany Noble every day, noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. Every day, noon Eastern on the Black Star Network. All right, y'all, it's another day. And racist white folk will do what racist white folks do. In Tennessee, this white hooligan got caught on camera repeatedly using the N-word while boasting about being in Tennessee.
I ain't got an angry girl.
Well, not drive, jackass.
No, jackass. Now it's that.
I don't give a fuck about water or not. You know where we're at? We're in Tennessee. It's where the KKK originated. Let's find this one.
Oh, now you want to hide.
So you talk trash, and then when you realize they're recording, then you want to duck. No, that's not quite how those things go. And of course, they have been posting him. He's quite familiar now on social media. FAFO, Matt.
Res ipsa loquitur. The thing speaks for itself. I have nothing to add besides FAFO. I mean, at this point, you know what time it is. And also, I mean, you have no expectation of privacy in public. You should presume people are recording. How many dumb things do we see on the internet like this all the time? So really bold for him to do that, but then to try to hide his hands after throwing the rock and trying to hide. Sorry, Chief, you can't. It is what it is.
Yep, and his name is Ryken Monahan from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. You now are known all across social media, Ryken. So congratulations. You're on candid camera. The other incident happened at the graduation. A white woman was allegedly harassing a black family and used racial slurs. Well, she got what she didn't know she asked for when she looked at the black woman, grabs her phone, and just tosses it. Roll it.
Well, who throwing? Oh! Make it count, baby. Make it count.
Okay, y'all, so there's another angle. So check out this angle here so you can actually see what happens. Watch this.
Are you fucking... Wow. Oh! Fucking going to jail.
Okay, all right. Before I go to my panel, I got to go ahead and do this. This is a public service announcement. No, keep panel up. This is really a public service announcement. All of you, when you're capturing these things in video, can you do me a favor? Can y'all please stop shooting vertical? See, pull the video back up, Henry. See, the problem is when y'all shoot this way, this is what we get, the black bars on the left and the right. So it's narrow, okay? That's a problem. So do me a favor. If you're gonna shoot somebody getting their ass whooped, I would like for y'all to shoot horizontal or landscape. Now, let me show you, okay? Also, here's the other tip right here, okay? If you're gonna shoot video, can y'all do me a favor and not screw up the actual action? Okay, Henry, roll the video. Y'all can see what I'm talking about. Audio, audio. Give me audio.
Are you fucking... Wow.
Okay, all right. Okay, so whoever shot, I don't understand why you pointed the camera down. You missed the punch. Okay, you missed the punch. Okay, you missed the punch. I mean, you missed. We call that missing the money shot. Okay, we call that missing the money shot. All right. So like reminded me when we went in Cincinnati at the Cincinnati Music Festival, and I go on. Snoop Dogg calls me out to go on stage, and we dancing, and Antoine is shooting, and he actually misses the money shot, and I'm like, dude, how did you miss the shot? That's why you're here. Okay, so do me a favor. And also, here's the other thing. Y'all got too much headroom, okay? Y'all got too much headroom, all right? I mean, I'm just saying, all right? You're cutting the head off. So if you're going to shoot video, I need you to have a little bit more space up top. So that's give us some headroom. I need you to keep the camera steady. I'm just going to show y'all an easy trick, okay? So don't hold the phone like this. So what you do is you take these two middle fingers and you place them on the back of the phone. This is also how you take selfies. And then you put that index finger, that pinky finger below, and put that index finger on top. And then what you do is you don't have your phone deep into your palm. What you do is you put it right there in that little nook right there. And then that's how you now are able to control your video. Now you can sit here, and guess what? I can shoot right-handed. I can flip this sucker. I can shoot left-handed. Nope, Thelma, you're doing it wrong. You're absolutely doing it wrong, Thelma. That's just totally wrong, okay? So I'm just saying, because that way, when y'all catch somebody getting scored, Michael, you're doing it wrong too. When you catch somebody getting scored on, you can actually shoot all of the video. We can't see the dipping down, you missed the punch, all of that. But let's get back to it. Bottom line here, these white folks act a fool. They show their racism. Thelma, you a lawyer, okay? And people are commenting and say, because actually when the video, somebody said, oh, y'all going to jail. And the person's like, no, we didn't go to jail. We stayed for the graduation. But when a white woman grabbed her phone off of her body and tossed it, she was committing assault, and the black woman defended herself.
That's absolutely correct. That is considered offensive contact. As soon as you touch someone and you are the aggressor, and depending on what state you're in, that can be something simple as a Class C all the way up to a felony. Now, she better be glad that's all that black woman did. See, I know that black woman held some composure, because if they was outside in that street, in that open field, it would have been up and stuck with her. And this is the thing with these white individuals. We are not our ancestors. And in regards to what we gonna make you taste our ancestors. So if you want to nuck like the Negro spiritual in Atlanta, we will buck back. And this is an example. Don't nuck if you can't buck. And we know these white people are soft as the pillow cushion because they want to talk more than they use their hands. But when we use ours, then they want to be like, oh, I'm gonna press charges. No, you the one that's going to jail, honey, because we let you talk, we let you react, and we respond. Period. Yeah,
and it's just, I just said over and over and over again here, Michael, and it's real simple. These racists show themselves. Donald Trump has emboldened these folks, and in a lot of these cases, they're getting their asses whooped.
To continue to happen. So, yeah, a lot of them get out here with this false courage, and they run up on the wrong person, mess around, find out. It's not a lot to add to this, but public service announcement to white people, you need to leave black people alone. I'm telling you right now, because it's and if you study our ancestors, we fought back and shot back too. Just study the history. Read the book, This Nonviolent Stuff That Gets You Killed, How Guns Made the Civil Rights Movement Possible, by Professor Charles E. Cobb Jr. You've interviewed Professor Charles E. Cobb Jr., Roland, on your show, News One Now with Roland Martin, and you had him on your radio show. So y'all gonna mess around and run up on the wrong person, and this is what's gonna happen to you.
And all I'm simply saying is, every time that happens, and it gets captured, we're gonna show y'all. But please, do me a favor, stop shooting videos vertical. Okay, it's getting on my damn nerves.
I learned some.
Okay, please do not shoot vertical. Vertical is 9:16. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Television is 16:9.
Right.
This is 9:16. This is 16:9. You should always shoot video. And if you're gonna shoot video this way, Matt, grab your phone, please. Do you know how to do this?
No, I'm definitely not doing that. No,
Matt,
I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Matt, do you know how to do this?
Nope. I will die on this hill, but you're right.
Matt,
you're right.
Matt, you don't know how to do this?
Video, but I'm not doing it.
Matt,
I do know how to do it.
You know how to do
but
this?
I'm not finna do it so you can come up with some crazy, Matt, you ain't right.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just simply, I'm
right.
instructing, I'm simply instructing everybody on the panel. And first of all, here's the other deal. Henry, play that video again. Play the video again. Okay? All right, see right there. You ain't got to play it. Just stop it right there. Okay? Y'all, right there. That's a dirty screen. Okay? Okay, let me be real clear. When your video looks foggy, that means your screen is dirty. Okay? Let me help y'all with this here. Okay? So do me a favor. When your screen is dirty, don't do this.
Right.
Just saying. Don't, that's a smudge. Don't do that. So you should properly clean your lens, front and back. But if you're going to be shooting your back of the camera, shoot in the back. So there you go. You do it this way. And so go ahead, Thelma, hold your phone up. Hold your phone up. Let's see how you do it. See, Thelma, I told you. Damn it. Cut that vertical shit out. I told you. Right? No, see, right there. See, right there. Your camera's going to be unsteady. See, you got, nope. Because see, you do it with that right hand, it's going to get in the way of the lenses. Nope. Put those middle two fingers on the back. See, Matt is being obstinate, okay? See, Matt was that child who you would say thank you for the cookie, and he'd be like, see, that was Matt. That was Matt. Matt was like my twin niece Raquel, who refused to say thank you. No. And she looked at me like she refused to do it, but her twin sister Rachel was like, thank you, because Rachel wanted that cookie.
See, the thing is, you can't leave well enough alone, because I already told you I agree with you how to shoot it.
And see right here, okay? So then Michael think he's being, you know, he think he's being fancy by holding a portable tripod. But see, the reality is you're not always gonna have that. So learn how to shoot this way. And last thing, do me a favor, turn on the function on your phone that shows the lines, so that way your ass ain't shooting crooked. Okay, all right. That's the last of this class I'm giving today. It just drives me crazy every time I see a 16:9 video. It just drives me crazy. I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. It just gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves. It just does. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, nope. That's not it. Before we go, show the photo, please. I got a text today, y'all. Got a text from Enid Dockett. And Enid Dockett sent me a text, and she said, hope you're well. Yes, paid subscriber still. My mom in Ohio, a loyal you watcher, passed a few weeks ago. By the way, she was 99. Enid had sent me a photo on January 22nd saying her mom had turned 99 this week. Her mom was a huge supporter of this show. She watched me, and she was a paid subscriber. And so certainly condolences to Enid and her mom. Her mom's name was Georgia Dockett. Her name was Georgia Dockett. She was from Rome, Georgia. She passed away at the age of 99 a few weeks ago. She watched this show. She supported this show. I certainly appreciate it. And I say that because when we travel around this country, I meet a lot of our fans, people who support this show. People walk up to me and literally give me money. Somebody put a check in my hand when we were in Montgomery. These things happen all the time, and we appreciate that because support of this show is critical. We don't have millionaires and billionaires cutting checks. I was reading a story in the Daily Wire that's Ben Shapiro's group, and a Texas billionaire gave him almost $5 million to start the Daily Wire. That's what happens. Right-wing media, they're cutting them crazy amounts of checks every single day. And y'all got to understand, black-owned media, listen, folks that don't have jobs and laying people off. And I'll tell you right now, Thelma's going to be there. Thelma's a lawyer in Dallas. She's going to be at that trial. I will be shocked, and Thelma's going to let us know, I will be shocked if you have any black-owned media who's going to be at that trial. You're going to have white media. I'm telling you right now. You're going to have local media there. Conservative media is going to be out there. I wouldn't be surprised if these networks out there. And that's the whole thing. We see this all the time. And so those things happen. And this is why we have to support black-owned media, because I'm telling y'all, there are stories that happen all around the country that don't get any coverage, any attention. And that's why it matters. And in fact, when you talk about black-owned media, on Monday, we're going to be simulcasting a film along with Joanne Reed. She's going to be simulcasting this. Pull the graphic up. It's called Love, Joy, and Power. This is the documentary on Black Voters Matter. And it's taking place on Monday. And it's a fascinating documentary. And we talked about it before. And again, this is a perfect example of when you actually can own it. MS Niles, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, they're not going to be simulcasting this. We are. So we're going to be using this platform to actually simulcast that as well. Also, pull up the Juneteenth. So that's going to be, Juneteenth, of course, is going to be on a Friday. But that weekend, there are going to be events taking place all across the country. The Juneteenth Week of Action. If you go to the website, you see it right there. Freedom Summer 2026, Freedom Summer 2020. Do me a favor, y'all. Let's put that in our lower third because we can barely see that on the graphic. FreedomSummer2026.com for more details. This is the follow-up to what took place on May 16th in Montgomery, Alabama. It is about, again, keeping the pressure on. We also want to remind y'all, as well, that we've already surpassed 1,000. I want us to hit 2,000. On June 12th and 13th, in 2 weeks, Reverend Dr. William Barber and Prayers of the Breach will be training. It'll be a virtual training to teach people when it comes to registering folks to vote, organizing, and mobilizing. We want you to sign up. What you do is go to blackstarnetwork.com, click on that link, and you can click inside of that link or go to Repairs of the Breach website, and you can sign up. We initially wanted 1,000 black men. We already surpassed that. But sisters were hitting us up. Actually, we initially wanted 1,000 alphas, and cats who were in D9 groups and non-D9 were hitting us up as well. I'm still getting emails. And so if you want to be a part of that, I want us to hit 2,000. And it doesn't matter where you are to be involved in this here. We opened this show talking about what they did in Louisiana and what they did in Alabama. And the bottom line is this here. We are not going to be able to stop what these people are doing if we do not use our power. And so you've got Michael's there in Detroit, Matt's in Corpus Christi, you've got Thelma in Dallas. We've had people on this show from different parts of the country. And I'm telling y'all, I am sick and tired of listening. I'm sick and tired of listening to this generation of millennials and Gen Z talking about we're not our ancestors. Okay, prove it. Because that photo that I put up of Georgia, who passed away at 99, I'm telling you, her generation, they were involved. Her generation subscribed to black newspapers. Her generation fought for us to be where we are right now. And this is where we have to be. And so, again, y'all, ain't nobody coming to save us. It's just us. And we need everybody who is involved. And so we hope that to happen. Let me thank Matt. Let me thank Thelma. Let me thank Michael. Certainly appreciate it, folks. Again, what we do, what is that? Oh, I guess you won't put up your house. So did you go to either one of those schools, Matt? Did you go to either one of those schools?
You thought I forgot about how you ran?
No. I didn't run.
27-17. You
No,
didn't show up.
first of all, I didn't run it
next week.
Okay, excuse me.
Don't forget, my
excuse
brother.
me if I have.
Don't forget.
Excuse me if I have speeches. Excuse me if I have speeches. But man, also, did you go to either one of those schools? Did you go to either one of those schools?
That's not the point.
No,
that doesn't matter.
I'm just asking, where'd you go to school?
It doesn't matter.
Where'd you go to school?
It doesn't matter. I went to the Howard University.
Yeah,
but
okay.
That's not the point.
So, and it's amazing.
The point is,
I've never
you came
ever,
to Austin.
I've
you
never
took that
ever,
L and you ran.
I've never ever seen you reference a Howard football game, ever. It's amazing how you and Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley always talks about Alabama, but he don't talk about the Alabama school he went to, Alabama A&M. So it's amazing how you never ever talk about Howard. And I mean, look at this. Y'all even won y'all homecoming, and you never even mentioned y'all beat Morgan State. Yes, I thought so. I thought so.
Your deflection is ineffective, my
No,
brother.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just saying. You never ever brought up. You never ever brought up Howard.
Have more Super Bowl
You
wins.
never ever brought up Howard. You've never ever brought up Howard football ever.
That's not the point, bro.
You won't even bring up the Howard golf team, the Howard basketball team. You barely won a Howard shirt on this show. Matter of fact, I doubt there's anything in your office right now with Howard on it.
There's a lot of things in my office with Howard on it, including that expensive receipt on my wall.
Hold up, zoom out.
I'm in my conference room. I'm downstairs. I do this for the aesthetics, baby. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're in your conference room, so you don't have Howard stuff in your conference room?
Here's the thing, though, Roland.
No, I'm just asking.
You still haven't addressed.
I'm just asking.
Came to Austin,
do you have any? Hold up, and I can listen. I can tell you. Matter of fact, I saw a video since you want to go there.
Bring it, please.
Since you want to go there, Matt. Okay, because I saw a video the other day where that was an award. That was an award that was put together, and that particular award it was an old award, and they brought it back. And I think it was called the Lone Star. I think it was called the Lone Star State Showdown Trophy. And that particular trophy, what it does is it showcases when these teams play each other, and there are a number of sports, and so you get certain points for winning against each other. And I remember seeing that video. And y'all didn't win that trophy. A&M beat y'all in multiple sports, and so the trophy retained with us. So we kicked y'all ass in multiple sports. Yeah, I thought so.
And you keep moving the goalposts.
I literally saw the video.
You show up on your own show, brother.
No, actually, because I had a speech. I literally saw the video, and I immediately thought of you. So when I find that video, I'm going to be sure to send that video to you to remind you of who owns you. And while you're here, Matt, do me a favor. While you're here, why don't you go ahead and while you're here, why don't you congratulate the women's national champions in volleyball. Y'all lost in the semifinals, if I remember. But while you're doing that, why don't you also the women's tennis champions while we're here? Okay, we got to go now. You should have checked out when you could. So next time,
I think the Russians call this
next time, I advise you to rep Howard, the school you actually went to, and not the one your mom and daddy went to.
Whatever you got to tell yourself. Great weekend.
Yeah, I thought so.
You took that L and ran.
No, I take the L, but your Cowboys took that Texans L. Whoop that ass. All right, y'all. Don't forget, support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club, where we cover Black America in a unique way, even when Negroes tout white schools that they never went to. So, if you want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered via Cash App, use Stripe QR code. You see it right here. That's the QR code. If you listen, Matt. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be petty. Yes, Matt, I'm going to be petty. I'm going to be petty. Yes, I will be petty. Absolutely. Don't worry about it, Matt. We turn your microphone off. Don't worry about it. Your mic is turned off. I mean, you can keep talking, but we're not going to hear you. All right, y'all want to support via Cash App? Use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here. Go to blackstarnetwork.com. Checks and money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003-7-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. I told y'all this is the blackest show out here. Download the Black Star Network app. Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. Be sure to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag. All you got to do is go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. And speaking of that, support all of the black-owned businesses on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Go to our marketplace, and you can catch that. Get all those goods there. Don't forget also, do me a favor, download the app Fanbase. You can follow me at Roland S. Martin on Fanbase. And don't forget, folks, every single Tuesday, you can watch A Balanced Life. Remember Dr. Jackie Hood Martin right here on the Black Star Network. Streams every Tuesday. You can go back into our YouTube channel, see the shows. Every Wednesday, The Other Side of Change with Bria Baker and Jameer Burley. Every Thursday, Second Opinion with Dr. Ebony Hilton, our health show. You can check that out. Fridays, you have the Black Table with Dr. Greg Carr, as well as Roland's Book Club. So that's every single week. And so when you support this show, you're supporting the network as well and all the work that we do. Folks, that's it. Every Friday, we always run the names of all the folks who donated to our show. More than 47,000 donors since we launched. We always salute every person, whether you gave $1 or whether you gave $30,000. We treat you the same, and we're appreciative of every single dollar. And some of y'all have been inquiring into the chat. I have no idea where I got this from. Somebody gave me this shirt, and this shirt honors black male writers. So I have no idea. Literally, I was somewhere, and somebody wanted me to have this shirt. And so I decided to wear Aggie Maroon today for Matt. And so that's why I'm wearing this shirt. So you see all the names on here: James Weldon Johnson. You see Ralph Ellison, James Baldwin, Langston Hughes, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, and Richard Wright. And yep, that's all the names on here. I think I'm missing somebody. Langston Hughes, James Baldwin. There we go. Ralph Ellison. Yep. So this shirt honors black male writers. So whoever gave it to me, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. I'm going to see y'all on Monday. Holla!